And just waiting for it to say go live. Waiting. We're live. Apparently we're live. It says, tell us in the chat if we're live. This is the pre-show if you've joined and you've never watched before. This is the pre-show. We start the real show in about 15 minutes, but enjoy the banter for the next 15. Just while we get everything set up anyway. Grab yourself a drink. And if you don't drink, grab yourself something. Don't tell me what it is.
Green tea, Inky.
Oh no, I think I'd rather have a drink.
Yeah, well, today I've got Weihenstephaner. Weihenstephaner.
Stefana. Did you get that? Stefana.
It's a good German beer, this one, isn't it? It's German?
Yeah.
Is it German? Sometimes it's Bavarian. Well, it says Bavarian, so I'm assuming it's German. Where's it made? It is made...
Probably made in Australia.
Brewed under license in Perth.
Yeah. It's made in Australia, mate. No, it's not. It's made in Germany. So yeah. Now, just make sure you don't have any loudspeakers turned on because I'm getting.
That was me.
That was you.
Phone
That was your phone. All right,
yeah,
cool.
That's me. Sorry.
That's all right.
My speakers are turned off.
Yeah, your audio this week, Andy, is perfect. That's exactly what you need.
Right.
Yeah, you've done well, mate.
Good investment, that mic, then.
Yeah, you did well.
Good bit of Australian technology, you see.
You managed to get one through the streaming, like, because all the cameras are sold out, aren't they?
All cameras, all mics, everything's sold out.
Can't get a camera, but got one of those. I thought if it's good enough for Nick Batt, it'll do for me. It seems to be doing the job then. So.
Well, there's three. What have you got, Darren? Have you got a Rode as well?
No, I've got SE Electronics.
Oh, okay. So there's 3 Rodes here and 1 SE Electronics. I actually don't know much about your mic, Darren.
It wasn't an expensive one, actually. I got it for just getting sounds, really. It was a one-off. I think I got it in a bundle. Some crappy headphones.
Is it a condenser, Darren, or is it dynamic?
Condenser. I've got a dynamic down there, but that is, you literally have to scream at it.
Well, I think
it's not an SM57 anyway.
A lot.
Here we go, guys. Oh, that smells nice.
You've got a jacket on there. Is it cold?
Yeah, it's a tad cold.
I know he's doing this because I've just told him all my beer's not in the house and I can't get it.
That's too big. That's a massive head on that.
Have your legs stopped working, Inky?
Yeah, she's having a whinge. That's too big, the head on that. Look at that. There's more head on that than a rugby player.
No, that's right.
That's a massive head.
That's right. That's how you should do it.
I'm going to have a moustache. I'm going to have a beer moustache after this.
Schnurrbart.
Oh, that's lovely. That's a nice beer. Anyway, on we go. It's Frivolities.
Oh, can I tell you about 2 shows that are coming up tonight that are really good, but clash, which I'm really upset about?
Yeah.
So you've got Phil Hartnell in his studio on Facts 51 Manchester. Yeah. Right. Playing
Orbital.
live or Orbital. Phil Hartnell, 8 o'clock. And at the same time, B-Boy Tech is interviewing Roger Lynn at 8 o'clock. So pick your choice. I know which I'm for.
I'd go the Phil Hartnell. Yeah, Phil Hartnell.
Yeah, I am. Because, me and...
Love Orbital.
Yeah. So...
But what did you say? 8 o'clock? Yeah, that's only 4 hours away, isn't it? Yeah, 4 or 5 hours away. I'll be sleeping.
Yeah, we've got to do this. Get over there.
Your hands will be tucked up.
That's a real reason I started drinking yet, because I just be, yeah, I don't want to be chatting rubbish on that chat, do I?
Why would you change
Why
now,
not?
Enki?
Yeah, come on. It wouldn't be you if it made sense.
Oh, you know me so well.
Jessica's got to stay away from the cider. I don't think that's going to happen. Dearie me. So
Well,
we've
at
got
least we're having a chat during the week.
Marcus is there from Greece, and Tellurian and Wagyu, Michael B, Finn, Michael Elliott, good to see you. Yeah, beer. Tom's there from Dublin. How you going, Tom? Buka Glasner, beautiful. Any updates of the Electribe 2 sampler on the horizon? No, not that I know of. If anything, I think Korg will probably bring a new product out. That would be my take on it, but I don't know. I'm just guessing. I'm a user just like you. I haven't got any inside knowledge or anything like that. But yeah, we're definitely going to have a chat about the Electribes. Definitely. Well, I mean, there was a pretty big hint on the title of the stream, but there's an E2S right there.
Yeah, you could confuse everyone and not talk about them at all.
I actually really like this. This is a nice bit of kit. Definitely a nice bit of kit. Made a few tracks with it, but
Yeah.
I've also got this ready for you guys a bit later on. Oh, look at those oldies, hey?
Yeah, sweet.
They got I had to get the walking sticks out and take their dentures out and dust them off. So those oldies. So we'll have a look at those a bit later. But got some videos to watch, and it's gonna be hard. Like, there's so much Electribe content out there. Like, it was actually hard to work out what do we do, where do we go. So yeah, and there's also a bit of a surprise on the stream tonight for you guys. So I hope you like that. And yeah, and there's a bit of news as well. Bit of news, bit of surprise.
He's moving to England.
It's not that sort of surprise. That'd be like, oh god, we've got coronavirus and now Ramsey's coming. Jeez, this year just keeps getting worse.
You'd have to spend a month in quarantine.
You'd be like, you guys all moved to Poland. Because there's no one in Poland, they're all in the UK, so you might as well just move to Poland now.
A friend of mine's doing just that.
Apparently it's cheap over there. Cheap alcohol.
Yeah, he's bought a flat in Gdansk, or Danzig, whichever you prefer, and he's going to move to Gdansk.
I've actually always wanted to go there. I've been to Europe, but I never went to like sort of that part of Europe, that sort of northern part of Europe. Yeah, always wanted to go. Matthew Harness has joined us. How you going?
I like spending my time in Iceland.
Yes,
I was
Iceland's
supposed to be
cool.
going to Iceland at Easter. There was supposed to be a school trip to
Oh.
Iceland, but of course it was cancelled.
You're a bit old, aren't you, really?
Yes, I am a bit
It's a
old.
great
for going on
place.
school trips, unless I am a responsible adult.
He had to repeat a few years, Darren. He had to repeat.
Is that just to go to Iceland?
Failing maths.
I'll go on a school trip.
Oh god.
Yeah, I've been about 6 times, 6-7 times. Yeah, great place,
I'd love to.
beautiful.
Really love to. I was absolutely.
Yeah, if you ever get the chance, Andy. Yeah, just don't go about September
It's a bit, it might
because
be
it's
wrong.
usually
September. The start of school.
because it's usually it can be wet, and if you go on any trips or anything, they're usually sort of like finishing at the beginning of September and don't start till October for the winter trips. So you're sort of in no man's land.
Well, they close the roads, don't they, in September too, because it becomes too dangerous in some parts as well. So
No, a bit later on. September's, like I say, it's very wet, or it can be very wet.
because you get that sleet, don't you? When it's wet on the ice, you get that kind of real slippery.
Yeah,
sleet. So
it freezes.
yeah,
Having said that, the first time I ever went to Iceland, we left because we weren't doing any flights from Manchester, so we left Heathrow, and it was something like -10 at Heathrow, and yet it was warmer in Iceland for the whole holiday, and it was freezing in England. That was the first time I went. What's the wrong with that? I thought it was supposed to be colder.
they have an extremely cool like cool as in not the temperature cool, but it cool as in awesome summers where you can actually get a pretty decent tan because of the way the sun. It's awesome.
Well, look, they're right underneath the jet stream, aren't they? So not the jet stream, sorry.
Gulf Stream.
Come on, Gulf Stream. That's the one.
Gulf Stream.
I knew what you meant.
So it's quite mild for where they are. It's very similar to a sort of our winter. Their average temperature is about 5 degrees.
Do the 303 dance has just joined us. Michael Elliott, I saw that today. He's just mentioned that David Gilmour had a live. He was playing an acoustic guitar, and he was sitting around, I think, great nieces and nephews, and just kind of. I can't even remember what track he was singing, because it was kind of quite badly filmed by someone. But yeah, he was doing a little live jam from Gdansk. Speaking of Gdansk, I don't know what David Gilmour. Does David Gilmour live in Gdansk now? Does he? Or has he just got... He's probably got like about 500 chateaus there or something.
Probably got houses everywhere, hasn't he?
He's probably got a house in every port. He's like a sailor. Daz has joined us. Daz is staying up late. Good stuff, mate. It's probably only midnight. Not even quite midnight there. But yeah. Because now that the clock has gone... So you guys that went forward... No, for you guys that went back, and for us it went forward, didn't it? I can't remember. Anyway, whatever it is, right? He's only 2 hours difference now from us. Normally he's during the summer months, he's 3 hours difference. We have... Where I live, we don't change our clocks. We don't follow daylight savings. So it's kind of weird. One of the weird places. But people in where I live don't believe that the curtains will fade. Have you heard all the conspiracy theories about daylight savings, haven't you? So apparently the curtains fade if you have daylight savings in Australia. Who else joined us? Sonic Neutronic. There you go. Awesome. Okay, we are a couple of minutes away from starting the show. So those who are new, please jump into chat, because that's what we're about. We chat. This is what this whole show is about, really. It's about all of us are equally fellow musicians of whatever position you're in, whether you're an absolute golden superstar and you've got #1 hits all over the shop, or whether you're just a really shit crap musician like me. So, yeah. Autobahn 303 has joined. 8:57 in the morning. That must be... What was that? 8:57. That must be Central Time US, I reckon. Like Dallas or Chicago or something. Tell us where you're from.
It's a good name.
Autobahn's an awesome name.
Yeah, it's a good name. Autobahn 303. Autobahn.
Autobahn. The fun on the Autobahn.
That's sad news about crap work. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys. I'm going to hit the button.
Go.
Ready, set. Oh, actually, I'll wait. I'll wait for it. Wait for it.
Oh.
It hasn't clicked yet. People get angry if I do it too early. Should I do it a second early? Oh, why not? Let's go. Well, hello everybody. Welcome to the Saturday show. And I thought, well, I mean, how much bigger news can you get than losing such an amazing person during the week? And so that was just a little tribute from me. And I probably did an absolutely shit job of it. Anything compared to what he ever did, that's for sure. But for me, it was very sad news. Florian is definitely someone that him and obviously the rest of Kraftwerk are a big influence on me and have been all my life. And it's very, very sad to see him go. And he did go early. Some people may not know, but he actually did suffer from cancer. So it wasn't a nice way to go. I don't think it was pretty quick though, apparently. So he didn't suffer too much apparently, but anyway, let's say good day to everyone, and we'll start with just a quick. Who we got on the show today? Hey, look at everyone there. Say hi. We'll start with ladies first. Inky, how's your week been?
Yeah, it's pretty good. Nice sunny weather. I'm enjoying it.
Fantastic. It's good that you got sunny weather too.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. I mean, even if you've got a tiny garden, if the sun's out, in England, it's amazing because it's always raining. It's always raining or grey.
Right.
So even if you've got a tiny little terrace garden, it just transforms it.
Well, I wouldn't actually know what it's like, but at the moment it is grey here where I am, and it has been raining quite a lot. And I'll talk about what's been happening here in a sec. But I thought I'd say a big hello to Andy. How you going, Andy? Nice of you to join us again.
Yeah, thanks, Rance. Hi, everybody. It's been a busy week. Sitting here working from home, and I've just been sitting in front of the computer for hours on end, but managed to get out a little bit, and I've got a couple of new little toys I've been playing with, and it's been cool. I see Jamie from Geosynths is in. He put up a review yesterday of the Behringer Cap. Absolutely the best one I've seen yet. Really brilliant video. Thanks for putting it up, Jamie. It's brilliant.
Yeah, I saw that too. That was a good video, Jamie. Nice to see you, Geosynths, Jamie, and a few other people. Alt V7, and if I've missed anyone else, we'll get to you guys in a sec. But definitely not least. How you going, Darren? Nice to see you.
Thank you. Great rendition there. It's been a great week. Although I wouldn't say we've had much rain for the past month. I think we've only had 2 days up here, so it's been great.
Fantastic. And big welcome to all the chatties who have joined us. And like I do every week, I like to say hello to them. And we'll go all the way back to the start where we had Marcus. Marcus is from Greece, if I remember rightly. So big hello to you again. Tellurian, nice to see you again. Wagyu, Michael B, Finn, Michael Elliott, good to see you as well. Tom from Dublin's there. Excuse me, my voice is going a bit crackly. Buka, excellent to see. And he had a question about Electribes, so we'll get to that in a sec. Matthew Harness is there. Good to see you. Dot, do the 303 dance. I think he said Dot, the 303 dance. Do the 303 dance. Good to see you as well. Dazza, the Intergalactic Federation, nice to see you. Sonic Neutronic, nice to see you. Autobahn 303, another 303 Nick. That's a good one, that one. And nice to see you if you're new. We'll be nice. We'll be nice to you if you're new. Geosynths, I said before, g'day, and Alt V7 I mentioned before. Mr. Max there, ASIO Heads there, and I think that's about it for now. And if I did miss you out, just throw your synth at the screen. In disgust, as I say every week. So yeah, this week we had storms where I live, and I was out fixing bits and pieces of the house which got damaged by the storm. So that was interesting, fixing gates that had blown through past the hinge, and we have a trampoline in the backyard, and I had to get the tent pegs out and fix the trampoline to the ground. Otherwise, it would have ended in the neighbour's pool. A few people had that happen actually where I live, so it was an interesting week. We had, but today it's just been cold. It's blue sky, and we went out to the park and everything today. It was quite nice in terms of like no wind or anything, but it's just because it's blue sky, it's really cold. And it's one of the things that happen in Australia in winter. You get blue skies, but you get very, very cold weather. So anyway, no wind.
When you say really cold?
Yeah, it's about 20 degrees. I thought we'd go there. Without further ado, we do have regular segments on this show, and we'll start off with the funny side, and let's roll the stinger. Geez, what happened to that? That was incredibly short. That stinger, I don't know what.
That's the quickest one ever.
Oh, that'll do. Who cares? Who cares about a stinger? All right, starting off, what have we got here? Let's press a magic button. Oh, yes, we forgot about this, didn't we? May the 4th. No. May the 4th. And Roland did put this out. I thought that was pretty good by Roland. So, yeah, that has to make it. There was a few jokes about what sort of robot it was, whether it was a 303 bot or a 909 bot. But anyway, I think it looks more like an 808 bot to me, if anything, with those colour schemes. But anyway, that was nice of Roland to do.
Well,
go.
Well, and it's named DB8.
DB8, was it? Yeah? I can't remember.
I think so, something like that.
DB8.
Yeah, I think so. I'm not sure.
Fantastic. All right, let's keep going. We'll just turn that one off, and we'll go to the next one. And Andy, sorry, mate. God, you guys, I know you watch Sonic State. I think he's getting a bit angry about Gaz mentioning that MIDI bass. He does it. He's been doing it for the last 5 years, hasn't he? Good one, mate. I liked it. So it made it on here. That's the whole purpose of Funny Side. What else we got? Have I got any more? Oh yes, this one. Did anyone see this? This is the Nord. I don't know what sort of Nord it is, but it's a Nord. Someone will be able to identify it. And this is the power supply that comes with it. And this guy's trying to work out how to plug it in. Have a look at the bottom right. I think he's supposed to use the cable, but yeah. Oh, geez, that was a good one. That was definitely a good one. And yeah, so what else is there? There is more. And where did I put it? Did I move it?
You know, at least one person is going to have done that, though.
I like that. Anyway, this one you'll see who it was.
The question is, if it worked, did he try playing it?
All right, this one is from Facebook. Here we go.
Shouldn't you get some sleep?
Sleep? I've never felt so alive.
Shug, you've got to get up early to kill the termite larvae at the college. You're not going to stay down here all night, are you?
Time has no meaning for me. What is it, 1 a.m., 3 a.m.?
Yes, that was awesome. That was done by a guy on Facebook today, and I asked him if I could put it up on today's show, and he said yep. So yeah, that was definitely cool. But while you guys are watching these memes, maybe you should look at this girl. Anyway, memes are over. We're done for the week for memes. Yay! If you do have a meme, you can send it in. Like a few people try and subtly send them in to me. Hey Andy. Yeah, beautiful. What did you guys think of the memes this week? Were they all right?
Yep, great one.
Cool. Okay.
I love the cartoon one. Don't we all think we're that?
Go, Winky. You go first.
Don't we think we're all that guy? Don't you know, like when anybody comes in and goes, "Do you know what time it is?" What does time have no meaning? I'm in the middle of this track, and they're like, "Well, it's 4 o'clock," and you're like, "Oh God, I live with other people, Joe," or something like anything like that. But we are that guy, aren't we?
But that's why it made it, because it was so accurate. Like, I have so many times we have been caught out either fiddling with synths, reading manuals, getting boggled down into making a track, and it's like 3-4 a.m. You think, holy crap, where did that go? Yeah, and you get some sort of knock at the door, and it's the wife or it's whoever. Time has no meaning. That was good. Andy, what were you going to say?
Well, I was just watching the Sonic State this week.
Yeah.
Not live, but after the event, and I just paused it to nip out for a minute, and I came back and just started giggling because I just thought Nick Bat's face looked cross. So I thought, right, here we go. I couldn't resist. I couldn't stop myself because I've become a bit of a Facebook addict since you made me get on Facebook, Rand.
It's all my fault.
Yeah, it's all your fault.
Didn't Ken? I think Ken's not on here, but Ken asked about influencers this week on his Facebook. I said, if someone ever calls me an influencer, just to stab me in the eye.
Yeah, I saw that. Was funny.
Ah, dear. Anyway, we have got news. And it is from here. Well, I found it here anyway. I didn't need to leave my house to find this news anyway. That's the whole point. So it is news from the Geeker, and what's the first one? Magic. Inky, you and I are going to be busy. Look at this for news, eh?
This is good news.
This is extremely good news. So what does it mean? If you've been sleeping under a rock, if you own an MPC Live, MPC X, MPC Force, or MPC One, where's Axelsoft? He hasn't got his MPC One yet, has he? I keep hitting a sore point with him. Yes, there's a massive update, and it's about to hit us, I think, in about 5 days' time. I think it's the 14th. Anyway, so the big thing about this update is that it's going to have MIDI. And when I say MIDI, it's already got MIDI, but when I say MIDI, it's got real MIDI now. It's got multi-MIDI, which means you'll be able to plug up to 32 devices via MIDI hubs into this thing, and you'll be able to map each device to various tracks and various functions. It's just going to be massive, and I can't wait to get my hands on it. I haven't seen it in action because no one's got it yet, but there is a video, and we can check that out. So how do we do that? Turn that off, press this button, and hit play. I'm not going to play the whole video though. This just gives you a little bit of an idea. Nice that they're showing the MPC One. Yep, it's
Welcome
all
to this
standalone.
overview of the brand new update for MPC Live X, One and Desktop, version 2.8, bringing some of the most compelling features to our MPC standalone and desktop software platform. We now have integrated MIDI Multi, turning your MPC into the heart of any studio or live performance by allowing you to connect up to 32 USB devices that you can now control directly from your MPC. From iconic...
All right, Akai, enough of you. I mean, it's still playing in the background. Probably should press pause. That video goes for 16 or so minutes, and there's another video that someone else has put out that goes into even more depth. Inky, I just wanted to grab, because you and I are both MPC owners. The screens, the new screens on this thing, they've really got me excited. There's some interesting new screens that we haven't seen yet, and like the mapping of the MIDI in the settings section, and even when you're plugging stuff in the back, did you see how it was just automatically appearing? I mean, that sort of stuff is brilliant. It looks like they've done a really good job, and it actually kind of makes sense why it took them so long to get this update out, because we've been asking for this for probably 3 years. And it probably took a while for them to develop the code, and I haven't seen really anything like this anywhere. So this is very, very big. This is probably, maybe their second biggest update they've ever done, I think. What do you think, Inky?
Oh, yeah, definitely for people with a lot of kit, USB, MIDI. They certainly answered the question, haven't they?
Yeah, they have.
People saying, where's the proper MIDI? Well, they've given us proper MIDI. I mean, really dedicated. And you can record on more than one track now as well.
Yep.
So you can record 3 or 4 tracks in an audio track at the same time.
The whole track thing's gone out the window now, hasn't it? Because there was only an 8-track limit before, and that doesn't seem to be there anymore. Yeah.
No. There was only an 8-track on, say, a audio or a plug-in instrument. They're instruments, right? The rest is 128 number of tracks, but you could only ever record on 1 track at a time.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Now I can be singing or whatever, and I can be recording, playing in one or recording more than one track at a time.
Yeah.
So that's quite a good update. Did you see that chord thing as well?
The chord thing was awesome.
So,
yeah.
So you play a chord in, a couple of chords in, and then you hit a button and it'll make a chord progression. It'll automatically pick those chords up
and map those
put them on pads for you.
Yeah, that is amazing.
So that you don't even have to think about it. Because if you're trying to play live, playing too much stuff is quite difficult, isn't it? So I have a problem with keys live. I start worrying, where's the keys that I've got to remember? So having them already mapped to a pad, which I probably wouldn't do, I'd probably just record the whole thing and let it, at least I can play the pads in then,
You can ad lib, It gives you the ability to ad lib a bit. And if you've got that chord progression in your track, that means that you can just sort of smash pads in the middle of a gig, and it's going to sound good. Whereas before you were stuck to sort of chromatic or those standard sort of musical progressions, and I never found they worked well. Like I sometimes like to break rules with music. Like I like to go with majors and minors and susses, and like I break rules because I like to piss all those lovely scholared musicians off. That's what I like to do.
Yeah.
So well, I think what we'll do is we'll put a pin in the MPC for this week, because that is I reckon it's going to definitely get some airtime on the next week's show. I would say if the update definitely comes out during the week next week, you and I will both be putting it on, and we'll be busy. And I want to show you guys. So next week we'll make it about the MPC. It'll probably piss a few people off because they're sick of us talking about MPCs. But anyway. By the way,
Axel, who probably won't have his.
He won't have his, and he'll be jealous. By the way, that jam I did at the start, the model by Kraftwerk, that was all done with hardware on the MPC. Not one bit of computer was used to make that. So if you want to know how capable that MPC is, it's it's able to recreate 1970s music. Pretty badly, but anyway. All right, we'll keep going. We've got more news. There's not much more, so we'll keep going with it. Okay, we did the MPC. What's this one? Oh, yeah, of course, that's the news. I thought I'd bring this up because, you guys were starting to talk about it, and I was trying to sort of cut you off. I didn't want to spoil the stream. But, yeah, this is sad news. And I just thought, let's get a little... keep it sort of positive, but let's get a little sort of opinion from everybody here, and also everyone in the chat, of what Kraftwerk are to you. And don't worry about the fact that Florian's gone. Just what Kraftwerk are to you, and how they've changed. Maybe they've changed music in the world, or maybe they've changed music for you personally. Who wants to start? Anyone? I'm putting you on the spot here.
Go on then.
Darren.
Kraftwerk. Well, I think Kraftwerk and Jean-Michel Jarre, I think, were the first two major sort of synth electronic music style influences, I think. Yeah. So yeah, Kraftwerk's right up there. And from that on, from listening to Kraftwerk and Jarre, it sort of led me into the sort of house music scene. And from then onwards, it's been, well, that's what it's been basically: dance, electronic, house, all that style of music. So I could say that they slowly took me into that range of music. Yeah.
Was there any specific album or track or anything that really stings out to you?
Pretty much all Kraftwerk. I mean, they're like, things like Neon Lights and stuff like that. I couldn't individually pick one out because they all have their own merit that I liked. And I actually had them on tape, and originally it was a copy of it until I actually got the albums. And they got me into electronic music basically. So yeah, sad day, but sad week, should I say?
But I think we should be strong and celebrate what he's brought. He was the guy. Florian was the guy behind the microphone and using the mic and delays and speakers and distortion and trying to get sort of sound effects. He was the guy that was exploring sounds in the early days, and obviously later on he got into Arp Odysseys and things like that. But yeah, so it was Florian that was probably that real sort of sound design guy. He was a real stickler for that. Andy, did you want to have a quick word about it?
A bit like Daz, really. The influence that they had in terms of other genres of music that came about because of what they do has been massive. It's slightly ironic that the original sort of house and particularly the techno scene in Detroit was massively influenced by Kraftwerk, and without Kraftwerk there wouldn't have been all of that techno music out of America, which then re-influenced much more what was going on in Europe. It almost went unknown in the United States, but it had a massive influence back in Europe again. So it was like transatlantic express, even, if you like. It was back and forth. But yeah, a huge influence. Personally, I've got to be in the right mood for listening to Kraftwerk, but sometimes it just hits the sweet spot. I actually sometimes think it's fascinating because people assume that very robotic sound is a very German sound, but they actually developed it as to sound as un-German as possible, as a reaction to what German popular music sounded like in the late 60s, early 70s. It was to sound as unlike the rest of German popular music as they could manage. So, and yet now we just think of it as a very Germanic, Teutonic sound. There's a brilliant video on YouTube about krautrock. It just happens to be all in German, but it tells that story beautifully. So yeah, but huge influences and a sad loss result.
Yeah, well said, Andy.
Yeah,
and,
like you say.
Yeah, go Darren.
Like Andy was saying, they were trying to move out of that being pinholed as a German type group, and in fact, it's become a German type group in the end. From what they were trying to be pinholed as.
Berlin School kind of formed from it, didn't it? Inky, do you have some words do you want to say about Florian and Kraftwerk?
No, I was just really following on what everyone else has said, that there wouldn't be techno really, would there? Because of that rigid beat. They kind of invented that, the whole electronic vibe, didn't they?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right. Well, there's
Bambata and all that.
There's been a few comments from the chatties, so they're just popping below here. So you can just read them here. RIP Florian from Autobahn 303, definitely. What else we got? Takes a couple of seconds for it to spin around to the next one. Come on. Go. I can't actually press the button. There we go. I first hear Kraftwerk in 75 and I laughed at them, was listening to Weather Report, Return to Forever and John McLaughlin at the time. Vince says. So there you go. Maybe you didn't think they were the real thing, and it looks like they are. Tom said, I love their melodies. Yeah, so they did have the simple melodies. They even said it in one of their tracks. It plays a simple melody. That was their thing. That was their mantra. And I think that layering, the layering of the simplicity made it complex. But yeah, so there was a few. I don't know why that's spinning around to that again. Is it random? There was a few others. Michael Elliott said he met them in Detroit in 1988, or he met Florian, and he said he was very humorous and warm. So there you go. And Inverted Pope said they were a massive influence on him, and Michael B said without Kraftwerk we wouldn't have DM. There you go. So some really good comments from you guys in the chat. Thanks for joining us into that.
Has anybody had the chance to see Kraftwerk live?
Yeah, I've seen them live.
I saw Kraftwerk in 1991 in the Philipshalle in Dusseldorf. I was living in Dusseldorf, so and they had to come from Dusseldorf. One of the best nights of my life. It was just an amazing experience. I think they were touring a sort of remix album called The Mix, but it was just brilliant.
Yes, The Mix. It was good too.
Another English friend of mine, and we'd gone to see them in the Philipshalle. There's all these Germans just standing around, very Germanic, watching the band, and there's Elf and Sean just dancing our tits off, going bonkers, like they were the only ones, and everyone thought we were the stupidest people. Well, absolutely one of the best nights of my life going to see Kraftwerk in 1991. Absolutely loved it.
Oh, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. All right, we've got more news. I don't know if there's that much more news, but we did that. Next one is this. So, I don't really know if you guys are into these sort of Euroracks come desktop controllers, but Darren probably might be. This one's by the Make Noise guys, and this is called Zero Control or Naught Control, or No Control. There's all sorts of ways you could say that, I guess. But yeah, for me it would probably be lack of control.
That's a track, isn't it?
But yeah, it's got that sort of contact electric sort of those contact point type electric sort of pads on it, and obviously it's all CV controlled, and you can plug this into your Zero Coast, or you can plug it into your Eurorack and things like that. It is a sequencer as well, so it actually shows a little bit of intrigue to me, and I think, if I remember rightly, I think there might have even been a video for this. So let's see if there's a video.
There's been a few.
I think Loopop did some.
Yeah,
it did.
Did that actually program to work? No. I definitely had a video. Let's see if this works if I go to here. Here we go.
Introducing the Zero Control. The Make Noise Zero Control is a patchable, clockable, controller, and step sequencer for voltage-controlled synthesizer systems. Designed to be friends with the no-coast, it is a tabletop device whose inputs and outputs follow Eurorack standards, making it also a great partner for a modular system or another patchable tabletop synth.
Anyway, enough of the vid. There is going to be a link for that video in the description if you guys want to check more about that. But I actually think that's pretty cool. I mean, it's not something you want to spill your beer on. Cheers, everyone. But anyway, it's definitely something that I think is pretty cool. And the fact that it's not like a how do I say it? It doesn't have a CPU in there like a digital controller where it's connected to a pad, and that pad does some sort of thing, and then it sends out a control voltage. It's actually all electrically wired. So all of those little sort of contact pads and things that are on there, it's almost like you're kind of directly getting into that voltage control. That's it's kind of almost making you sort of connecting yourself. It's kind of weird. That's how I saw it anyway. So yeah, that's the Zero Control or No Control anyway from Make Noise. What did you guys think of that, Darren? Is that something up your alley?
Yeah, quite like that. Yeah, I like any sort of like little sequences that are just a bit off the wall. So, and anything that'll plug into Eurorack will always is always a good thing. So yeah, I quite like it. It might just fit somewhere here actually.
And maybe you might know, or maybe someone in the chat might know. Are those things Eurorackable? Like is the Zero Coast and the Zero North, are they Eurorackable, or are they actually fixed desktop units that you can't chuck in your Eurorack? Does anyone know?
I'm not sure, I don't know whether they are.
There is a mod that you can do,
one.
but it takes a bit of work, apparently. I think they're best left as desktop things. So.
I thought that
you
was
think
the
they would
point
make it
of
easy,
them.
though, wouldn't you?
But don't they make Eurorack? So
Yeah.
I suppose that's...
Yeah.
That's why I thought they'd have just made it easy to take out, put in Eurorack if you wanted to.
Yeah, but I'd buy these. But if I don't want them, I quite like them as the boxes.
Right.
Because then I feel like I'm not buying
it as a box,
Eurorack.
Yeah, but like the Behringer one,
where you can take it out and put it in.
Yeah. Like the Behringer, you can take it out, unscrew it, and then chuck it in, and then if you're sick of it being in your Eurorack, you can put it back in its little case. but I don't think you can. So that was kind of what I was. No one in chat said you can. So yeah. Anyway, that's that's news for the week. So what else have we got? We got Price Watch. That's always a good segment. Let's roll the stinger for that. Now, there were a couple that I came across this week. The first one was probably more interesting than anything. This is an MKS70. Now, for those who are playing along at home and don't know what an MKS70 is, this is Australian dollars too, so just divide it by about 400 and you've got US dollars. It's a rack-mounted version of a Jupiter 8. So that's what an MKS80 is. Now, I've got an MKS70 at home, and I thought if MKS80s are selling for like nearly $9,000 Australian, or about £4,500, I thought, geez, MKS70s must be pretty close as well. And I was actually quite surprised that they were around the $3,000 Australian dollar mark too, which means that I've just made 3 times my money when I bought mine about 5 years ago. So that was a pretty good investment. Anyway, that is actually probably what the going rate is on these things, by the way. So that's the first one. Second one is a little bit interesting. Do you guys remember this? This was the SID station that came out from Electron. It's one of their early stuff. Now, someone's having a laugh. This is US dollars, I believe, because I got a screenshot from someone else. I couldn't find the listing myself. So I think this is $6.5 US, 6.5K.
Was it always yellow?
Yeah, is it yellow? Golden Child.
I don't remember seeing it yellow.
So it's some rare edition, is it?
No, I don't know. Just when I remember it. Yeah, I remember sort of seeing a grey or black looking thing.
Well, I thought to myself, how much are SID stations going? So I just got a normal listing from Reverb, because both of them were Reverb. This is the normal price. So about £800, £900 is about the going rate. Remembering, too, these have got the Commodore 64 SID, the actual real SID chip are in them, and you can't get them anymore, those chips. So they're pretty rare. But that's the real price.
That looks like a Mark II, though, doesn't it? That looks a bit newer, if you look back at that.
And that's the rare one. But would you pay 6 times that price? Or even more? No. 6.5 times that price?
I don't think
like a broken computer. No, thank you.
Well, it just sounds like
I was going to say, I don't think I'd want one at any price, really. It's a headache. Thanks.
Well, anyway, there's the SID station. You can go into 8-bit Wonderland with your golden. It looks like I'll go back to it. It looks like someone's left it in the sun. You know how you get that bromiding on the old plastic gear from leaving it in the sun? It looks like it's been unloved. I don't know if it's $6.5 of unloved though. Let's go to the next one. This one came in from Ken Flux with it. He sent me this. I couldn't find the actual Reverb listing, so someone must have taken it down. It's very hard to read this, but this was off Facebook. He screenshotted it for me. If you want an ultra rare pink Novation Moroder Nova, which is that special edition, Giorgio Moroder Ultra Nova, I think it is. It's pink, inky. But yeah, this guy, how much does he want for it? It says it in the post somewhere. 10K. Edit, yes, and it's a 10K. And then apparently the post went into like overdrive. Oh, it's a mini Nova, that's right. Not an Ultra Nova. So it's not even an Ultra Nova. It's a mini Nova. So there you go. Some guy wants 10K for his pink Moroder Nova. Who's got a mini Nova? Anyone here got a mini Nova?
A friend of mine's got one.
No.
It's lovely. Yeah,
well, they're very
really nice.
The engine in it is actually the same engine that's in the circuit. So
$10,000? Don't think so. I mean, when just to have it pink, surely you could take all the knobs off, unscrew it, spray the panel pink if you really want it pink.
I'm going to spit my beer out in a minute.
Because you can pick one up for about £200. I mean, why would you spend that much money just to have something pink when you can spray paint it if you want to?
Inky doesn't want to talk. Say something, Inky. Go on. We want you. She's losing it.
I was going to say he's giving the game away, right? I was on mute, but he's giving the game away. I was about to say, no, that's I can get you one for half the price because that's exactly what I do. So,
get your spray paint out, Inky.
Yeah. Oh, it's been done before.
Inky mods.
Done before many a
Scribble
time.
it with your
Inkymods.com.
pink marker pens. Inky mods.
InkyPinkyMods.com. Send your synth to Inky and she'll make it pink.
Okay.
Brilliant. Yeah, we might make a little quid out of that. That'd be all right. $1,000 per synth.
Overlays. You can get overlays for the Behringer Neutron. There's companies that do these funky overlays. Maybe they could do funky overlays for other synths as well. You know, that you can have a bright pink overlay to put on your ordinary Mini Nova, so you don't have to spend $10,000 on one, which is silly.
Look, I'm not gonna. I'm gonna be fair. If someone wants to spend 10 grand on a pink synth, go for it.
True.
I'm not gonna stop you. I'll probably call you a git, but I'm not gonna stop you. But anyway, we shall move on to our Burke. Yeah, we shall move on to our next segment, which everyone has probably been waiting for, and that's the Electribes, and that's what we are here about today. It's probably been a while since we've talked about Electribes, so. I've got a few things lined up, so we can do those, but I'm going to kind of leave it sort of more of a free-fall chat. Guys, get involved in it. Obviously, Andy, you've been using Electribes probably longer than me, or maybe as long as me. I'm a bit rusty when it comes to Electribes. I haven't used them for a while, but let's just show everyone anyway what we've got up. So we've got in front of me is the old, these were the first Electribes ever made, the ER1 and the EA1. There was also an ES1, which I never got, which was green. But I did get the Mark II. Don't ask me how much difference the Mark II was. It just looks different. It's like a metal look as opposed to a sort of semi-plastic. But that's the Mark II. It still works. But God, whoever invented that type of memory card? They need to be shot. These things are really expensive too. That's 32 meg, and the only way for me to get that to work now is I need to format that in Linux. I have to use a Linux computer to format that. Like, it's just getting to the point where it's almost unusable. So that generally sits on the shelf for vintage reasons. But anyway, there's the two Electribes. I'm not going to pretend I'm any good at this. These are factory. I've actually done a factory reset on these. So these are the actual original factory presets. And I wanted to do that on purpose because I wanted you guys to hear the essence of what Korg were trying to influence the music world like. What were these, Andy? These were probably, 1998 or somewhere around there?
Yeah, late 90s.
Yeah. So let's have a little play with this, see what we can do. You guys hear that? Yep.
Yeah.
Alright, let's mute some stuff.
You see, I ended up getting the MC-TO3 instead of a Korg Electribe.
Isn't it cute? Anyway, that's probably one of the most.
That was not a good advert for those boxes.
That
They sound really nasty. They can sound really nasty and aggressive, and you've made it sound like nursery rhyme music.
Yeah, I just wanted to show you guys how pathetic they actually do sound. No,
that's the demo mode on an old Casio keyboard, isn't it?
That's their Kraftwerk mode. No, okay, what else we got? I've got a little bit of effects running, I have to admit. I can turn them off. It's just a bit of delay, just to make it sound a bit nicer. I'll turn it off. There you go. Sounds better with it on, doesn't it? You know, you kind of get a bit bored with that after a while. Next. But that's what the Electribe sounded like. Okay, let's just go to some other random patch. And the whole idea with this is you mute things, you know, you just learn how to, you know, to use the interface. So that was kind of the playing side of things with these, and you know, like I said, you get pretty bored pretty quickly with the factory patches. They were pretty cheesy, as you can see, which is exactly why I showed you the first one at first, because I wanted to show you how cheesy they were. But bear in mind too, these are digital. So these were digital, and I actually think the ER1 is a really, really nice drum machine. I actually do like it. It can sound quite analog at times, and you probably in a mix you probably wouldn't even know. So that ER1 is probably my favourite of the earlier Electribes. This is probably a bit limited in its sonic potential. It's two-part, so you can map it to two different MIDI channels and play, but the actual synth engine in it, it's a bit hard to get anything more than what you can control here. And if you want to do sort of like modulation and stuff like that, you have to do it over the steps. It's a bit like a Volca, so it falls over with that sort of, you know, steppy sort of modulation control, which I never really liked, but some people liked it. So yeah, there's some interesting sounds out of it. But Andy, what did you think of the original Electribes, just out of your personal opinion?
I never owned them. A friend of mine had them, and I was just always amazed because they sounded fantastic when he was using them, and they just sounded, like I said, really aggressive. Now he might have been running them through distortions and other things, but he have those two boxes, that red one and the blue one, and he had a little Akai, is it an SO1 little desktop sample box, and he used to do live sets with just those three things. It was quite amazing.
Yeah.
The only Electribes that I've used are the sort of current ones, the synth and sampler, the grey one and the black one, and like I said last time I was on, I bought those when I was getting back into it and found just so easy to use, and they sound great. But the old Electribes, I really don't know them. Is it the EMX or the? Yeah, there's a much bigger one with valves in, which there was sounds really full on.
So there were Mark IIs there were Mark IIs to these that came out, which I showed you one before with the sampler one, and then after that you had the MX SX, and I think there was a red one, a blue one, and a green one, and they had the valve in it.
No, I nearly bought the MX1. I've kept looking at it. Like Darren, I went for MC505, but I've got to say, I think I made the wrong decision. I think I should have gone for the EMX one, because I know people who are making music today. Yeah. I've heard some music.
No D-beam.
You're going... no, there isn't a D-beam, but they are making acid, Darren. So, you know, if it's a D-beam or acid, no.
Just play a theremin, Darren.
That's on the list.
What it might be.
No, Inky's right. The MX was one that I always wanted as well. So it just sometimes, Inky, you're probably exactly the same reason as me. I got the 505, I think, before I got these. So I had the 505 before I got the ER1. I got the EA one later on. I think I got it second hand too, which you can tell because it's kind of you can see the pads have been played by someone who smokes. They're all yellow, whereas that's mine, and I've had that since the late 90s. So yeah, I never got round to getting the EMX, and I always wanted it, but because I had the 505, you know what I mean? Like, you're not going to go and get yourself too much hardware that kind of overlaps, unless you turn into like a nerd like me and nowadays. But in those days where I didn't have a lot of money, I didn't. So, but the next one was this, wasn't it? It's after the MX and the SX series, there was a big gap, and then they brought these babies out, the new ones, the 2s, which is what Andy was saying he's got. So I got the sampler, and a little birdie told me, I got the sampler when it first came out. A little birdie told me, don't get the one that's not a sampler, just get the sampler, because apparently the firmware is interchangeable. And I went, oh yeah, there's probably just some salesman BSing me at the time, but it was true. You could actually load the Electribe non-sampler firmware on that, and you could change them around. Andy wants to show his. Let me just get Andy up.
Yeah,
here we go.
I've just unplugged it, and yeah, I've got mine there.
So they're actually quite an intuitive Electribe. What am I going to that? I don't want to go to that screen. Sorry, I'm losing my mind tonight. Yeah, they're kind of. They annoyed people when they first brought them out because they left out a lot of features and functions that the older Electribes had. And everyone thought, well, surely you're going to keep, all the good features of the old Electribes and put them in. Well, Korg tend to do that, and I don't know why, but there's some things in these that obviously the old ones don't have. So maybe that was kind of their way of saying, well, we need to sort of progress. So yeah, there's a few things about these that annoy the crap out of me, though. So what I've done, without me going through it now, I wrote a blog article on my website about 3 or 4 years ago of the pros and cons of the Electribe 2 model. So if you do want to know what they are, because you haven't got an Electribe 2 and you're thinking to yourself, I might pick one up second hand, because they are pretty cheap now. Go and have a look at that article first, because it might dissuade you. But one thing I did like about it when they first came out was the connectivity on it. So these days you'll probably think to yourself, oh, whoop-de-doo, it's 3.5mm plugs, what's so good about that? Well, there weren't many things at the time that were sort of languishing the 3.5mm MIDI TRS connectors. There weren't things, there were only a few things doing it. And there seems to be, like now, just about everyone's doing it now. But when these first came out, this was one of the first that did it. What I also liked about it too is it had the sync in it, so you could connect your Korg Volcas up to it and it would sync, so it would send the proper sync thing. And probably one of the biggest things that the older Electribes didn't have, and the battery compartment in it. So you can actually play this thing, on the bus. Why do we always say the bus or the train? The park, wherever. So yeah, I mean, it's pretty solid too. Pretty solid.
I was going to say that actually, Ramsey, that one of the things that immediately struck me when I bought the first one, I bought the Electribe Synth, was how heavy it is for a box of its size. It's really well made. It's a very solid piece of kit, and it's actually extremely easy to use. If an idiot like me can pick it up in an afternoon, anybody can. And that also has a bit of a downside in some ways, because it is easy to chuck out a dance tune on one of these without much thought. You could just twiddle about, they got it going. And I sort of struggled a bit with that, because to me it should take some effort. Things of value, if you put effort into it, it feels like it's better. And when you can just knock out a track really quickly, I sort of, in myself, I sort of value it less. So it was important that I tried to make it do things it wasn't initially designed to do. But it's always handled it. I've always managed to get it to do what I wanted it to do. So very, very flexible little boxes for not much money. Sure, there are shortcomings. There are times when it annoys the hell out of me. Like today I've switched them both on, and for some reason they don't want to sync up to each other. Stupid. I've no idea why that's happened. Yesterday it was absolutely fine. Today it's having a hissy fit. But other than that, you know, basically they're great little boxes, and as little standalone boxes, you know, really, really flexible.
Yeah, probably the biggest gripe I have with it, and it's only, it probably is the only thing that really peeves me about them. There's little things like you said, Andy, that peeves you, but this is the big one, and that is with the sampler. You have to load that your user sample pack. You've got to actually go in and set it up so that it automatically loads. Otherwise, it'll load the default factory stuff in, and that really annoys me. How it's not a simple case of just switching it on. You've got to go in and tell it to do stuff, and you got to set your SD card up and all that sort of stuff. It's just those sort of things would just weren't thought about properly, and just make it a little bit harder for people to not make simple mistakes like, oh shit, I've turned on the sampler and I've forgotten to load my user sample pack, and now all the pads aren't playing the proper samples, they're playing all the factory samples. So those are the things that annoy you.
I must have just set mine up. Every time I switch it on, it loads the samples which I've put in it.
You can, but you've actually got to tell it to do it at one stage, and if you don't,
I must have done that when I got it. Yeah. I had forgotten that was necessarily an issue because I did it back then.
Yeah.
There's a bit of software that I've got. Let me just have a quick look on here.
Right, while you're doing that,
Electribe sample library, which helps with organising and editing and putting samples into it. If you want to edit your samples on the computer, like in Audacity, you can do that, and then this little program just makes it that bit easier getting the samples onto the SD card and into your machine. So.
One of the things, I mean, these aren't that old. What are they? About 4 years old? They're not that old in terms of technology. So one of the things that I found when I was first
2014 was it? So about 6
years. Yeah. So one of the things I was checking into when I first got it, how the samples actually are stored and how much space you've got and all that sort of typical sample sort of conundrums. And
it's quite limited.
I found that you have to go back to the old school Akai way of sampling, where if you do the old trick where you make all your samples mono, and then the other thing is if you pitch up your samples so they play in a quicker time frame, you can store it in, and then you pitch it down when you want to play it back on your Electribe, so you can get more sample space on your Electribe. So those old-fashioned techniques like people did on the SP1200, the Akais and that, in the 80s, 90s, you're still doing on a 2014 sampler, which I thought was a bit disappointing that, SD cards and things like that should have been able to handle things better.
That's all I ever knew, so it's come as no surprise to me to find that it's limited. So, sometimes the limitations make you find creative ways around it, and so I mean, like I bang on about the W30. The W30's got 0.5 meg of memory. I mean, 30 seconds maximum sample time at the lowest sample rate. And why do I still use it? Because it sounds so nice. There's a sound quality.
Yeah.
So the limitations also have some musical value too.
Yeah, and people still say that about Fairlights, that they sound so nice.
Of course, yeah.
Even those, like when I showed the computer recreation I showed a few weeks ago, it doesn't sound as good as a real Fairlight because it doesn't have the amplifier, the digital to audio, digital to analog converters, and so you're missing all of that. But yeah, anyway, okay. So what else have I got? I've got a few videos sort of lined up, and I'm not sure how much we'll show of these, but as always, you guys can check the videos out in full in the description below. Okay, so the first one is this guy I've been following for many years now. I actually don't really know much about him, but he's got a really pretty good YouTube channel, and his YouTube name is Little Big Synths, and he did this video just last week, and it actually is very, Andy, you suggested this to me, it's actually very topical, because last week we did sequences, and this week we're doing Electribes.
It's a really good video.
So this fits into both our topics of the 2 weeks merged. Let's have a little look. So I think that sort of shows it anyway. But basically, what he's doing is he's showing that he can use his Electribe to sequence other gear, like I use my MPC for, and he's saying it's relatively easy. It is relatively easy, like Andy was saying before. So go check out the rest of that video, because he does it goes for about 18 minutes or so. It goes into a bit more detail on that. What I thought I'd do now, though, is during the week I asked a few of my friends to, hand in some of their Electribe, whether it's their favorite or whether it's just an Electribe jam. So we'll start off with this one. This is by a guy called Matt Greer. I think it's Robots Against Children, I think is his record label. You guys have probably heard of him. Anyway, this is his. Clipping. Wow. So that was Matt Greer. You probably see him around. He's on Facebook and places like that. Who can we do next? Oh, why don't we do Andy? We'll do you next, Andy. Here we go. This one, the audio is recorded live, so you'll hear a bit of a hiss, but this is cool. Awesome. really like that one, Andy, because it's got that sort of that real club evolving layering. You know, it's got a really good beat to it. I'd love to hear a proper recording of that. That's not just done through a camera's mic. If you've got one, you should definitely send that in. That's awesome, mate.
I do actually have the audio file from the gig, but I've found it so difficult to try and get the audio matched up with the video. It's been a pain in the bum, but that's my lack of IT skills. But I do actually have an audio file which sounds quite nice, so maybe I will just try again to see if I can get a better video editor or something and try and get it.
Well, just Dropbox it, and I'll sort it out for you, mate. It's I've got all the gear here to do that, so I can fix that up for you. No problem.
Oh, that would be kind of you.
Yeah. All right. Next one is he's gone to bed, but this is from Dazza from Down Under, and he's showing his EMX. I can't remember which one he's got. You'll see it in a sec. Good lights. Here we go. Which one's that? Is that the ESX?
EMX1 in it.
EMX1?
Yeah.
It's got the Volca next to it. Anyway, we can go check out the rest of those videos. And like I say all week, if you've got your own Electribe jam that you want us to check out, by all means, send it in. I didn't get that many people. A few people sent me SoundCloud links, and I can't really, we're not going to really sit here and look at the camera and go, listen to the SoundCloud links. Videos are always better for streams. So if you do have, it's always a good idea to put a camera on you when you're jamming. It's not that hard. Anyway, what did you guys think of those? Couple of little vids.
Cool, like Andy's.
Andy's was good, wasn't it?
Okay.
I want to ask Andy a few questions about what he was doing in the 90s, actually. I think we should put him on the spot and ask him.
Yeah, go for it.
So Andy made this track, performed a track live in 95. I've been listening to it all week. It's in my head. I can't get it out of my head. It's brilliant. So go and watch that, everyone.
It's on his YouTube channel, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's got the most views, but it's a brilliant track. It's got that magic test. That's all I'm going to say. Well, no, it didn't count because I've watched it at least 1,000 times. So
is that Techno Babble?
No,
I think it was Dodgy
which
Dove.
one is it? Yeah, it's Dodgy
Dove was the live one. Yeah.
It's got pink.
Yeah.
Should we, before you ask him questions, should we just have a little quick look at it? Do you think that might actually?
Yeah,
help?
remember this is in 95, right? 1995.
And you don't be scared. You should see the crap I produced in the 90s, mate. You're making me look like an absolute fool. So you're doing all right, mate. Trust me. All right, let's get this teed up. Here we go. Leave it there, but I'll link that one as well when I get a chance to edit the description after this stream's finished. That was really cool, Andy. I listened to that as well. I definitely agree with Inky. All right, Inky, go with your questions. Go.
Yeah, that's so I couldn't have had.
Go on, Darren. What did you think of that?
What did Darren just say?
I said, yeah, I watched that quite a few times, so you can't have all of the views because I watched it quite a lot.
Did it get stuck in your head? Like, it's got that vibe, that shuffle, little happy shuffle, and it.
Yeah, well, I remember the 90s at that time, so what was I going to say then? Yeah, I watched it when you thinking me the link, I'd already watched it about quite a few times. I won't say how many. But yeah, so at least half of them views are mine.
It definitely had that club vibe. Inky, what were you going to ask Andy? I'm dying to know.
Well, yeah, there's this difference between a club vibe and just getting that magic. But I really want to know how. I think people would like to know how you made that in the 90s and performed it live. Because in 1990, really got a choice of a lot of equipment unless you got a lot of money. So I was wondering what equipment, how he came to it, and how he was performing in clubs. Just a bit of a Andy's life in the 90s kind of thing.
I think Andy's grabbing some stuff, but here we go. Let's go to Andy.
Yeah. Well, the track was produced in this room where I'm sort of sitting now, actually, but it was here we go again. W30 sampler, a Boss DR660 drum machine, an SH101, and the Pro one that's sitting behind me.
That's why I like it.
And it's the bass line was the Pro one, stuck through you could hear it's heavily compressed. I even took the compressor out live, and so I just took everything out, stuck it on a stage. Originally, when I was playing live, I was using an Atari ST, but for various reasons, that became a bit cumbersome. I think for that gig, I was using this. I don't know if you can see that. I've still got this. This is a Yamaha MDF2 data file. It saves things to a 3.5-inch floppy disk. And you just plug the MIDI in. I just plugged the MIDI in from the Atari, press record in the order that I wanted the tracks. I could reorder them later as well. But I used that to play everything back. And for most of the tracks, they were just basically 8-bar loops, and all the different sounds were coming into channels on the desk. And it was all done as live arrangements using mute buttons. Sometimes Brilliant. A little bit of keyboard playing, and sometimes obviously tweaking the synths as they're going along. So that's what it was, and that was performed at the Arches Club in Sheffield at a night called Head Charge, which ran through the mid to late 90s, perhaps into the early 2000s. Every now and again, they sort of resurrect it here in Sheffield.
So that Yamaha thing is a MIDI player, isn't it? It's like a MIDI file player.
It's just a MIDI file player, or it'll read back standard MIDI files, or you can just simply record the MIDI files directly into it. It's got a record button, which is what I used to do. I just record it, and it was absolutely rock solid. In fact, I've actually got two of them. One's called Sid and one's called Nancy, and I just had one as a backup just in case.
Yeah.
Do they ever argue with each other? That's the question.
Yeah. Well,
this
is very dusty.
The thing that I liked about it, Inky, and you probably might pick up on it too, was that what he was saying is he was doing basically a mixer performance. So he was using the mixer as his instrument, which is very DJ, and I like that because it means that you're not having to fiddle fast around with other stuff. You're in your zone in that one sort of area, and you've got like Andy said, you can just use the mutes and that way you can control stuff. But what I liked about it mostly was how tight it was. It sounded just so tight, and to hear that you used a MIDI file player to sync everything up in the 90s, I mean, just that was incredible.
Nothing was synced. It was all just MIDI, triggering the samples, triggering the drum machines, triggering the synths. But I think I said it before. The Atari because that was just basically from an Atari ST. The Atari ST was tight. It was brilliant. The MIDI on that was rock solid, and I suppose therefore when you just simply record what's coming out of it onto the data filer player, that will keep the solidity of it. I never even thought about it at the time. I just did it, and it was what it was.
Yeah, I mean, you were becoming a problem solver, weren't you? So you're thinking to yourself, right, I can't be bothered lugging this massive big Atari every time to the club. Plus, you never know, if someone spills a beer on it, it's gone skis.
Well, exactly. The Atari never crashed. The Atari never once crashed, even during a gig. But I was thought I'm pushing it. It's probably getting full of dry ice and all sorts. So that's why I changed. The real nightmare thing was that thing behind me. The Pro 1 was so temperamental. The SH101 was solid, but every now and again the Pro 1 would develop a tuning system of its own in the middle of a gig. And you're thinking, oh God, what do I do now? And yet it's just right. Okay, the Pro 1's just going to make stupid noises tonight because that's all you could do.
I have a synth like that. I have a synth like that. It's the Ensoniq ESQ1. It just Usually that's an indication.
That's digital.
Yeah, well, part digital. Yeah, so the filter and everything's analog, but the actual oscillators and everything's digital. But usually that's an indication that your power supply or your capacitors are going. So that is probably a good indication for you to go and get that checked out. I love the look of the keyboard behind you. You can see how straight the keys are on it.
Well, it's
been well battered, hasn't it?
It's been bashed.
If you see,
it's been loved.
Watch Pro 1 videos on YouTube, you'll see an awful lot of them that have got, sort of keyboards that look like mountain ranges, all different levels. Yeah, that's because the key bed, something called a J wire or something like that, just goes, and it's a blimmin' nuisance. And I'll say it again. I said it last week. The Pro 1, the original Pro 1, the build quality is shocking. It's really bad. But to be fair, that's also been slung around and lugged about all over the place in its day. It's been loved but not well maintained, is the truth.
What do you think?
It does need a lot of work going on it.
What do you think of the Behringer remake of the Pro 1? Is it anything like it? Or?
I've got one. I've bought one. I invested in it. It's absolutely brilliant. The build quality of the Behringer is miles better than the original.
Wow!
And it sounds. Seriously, the build quality of the Behringer, it pisses all over. Oh, sorry, over the original. And anybody's got any qualms about it? If you're interested, just get that Behringer. It's superb, and it sounds just like it. Now, I was also in a.
What are they only about? They're only about 300.
300
quid or something. What are they, Andy? Are they 300? 200, yeah.
Yeah, but I was in a group where we actually had two Pro 1s. I had one. Rupert had one. Mine sounded slightly different to his, so no two Pro 1s will sound the same. Mine was a bit brighter than Rupert's, but that'll just be calibration and like you said, different components degrading over time at different rates. But so the Behringer isn't going to be absolutely 100% exact, but I'm telling you, it's absolutely good enough for me, and I love it. I absolutely love it. It's like having an old friend back, because the thing behind me is now unplayable, really. So there we are. Yeah.
I like tinkering with hardware that has problems. So I mean, if I had that, I would be opening it up. I would be, getting all the soldering done on it, and the keyboard looks like a mechanical issue.
But I haven't a clue about any of that. I really am utterly clueless. It looks like tell me to identify a capacitor in a synth. No idea.
There's a guy in the chat called Tellurian. He's offering to fix it for you. I don't know where he's from, but yeah. That's awesome. If he
lives near Sheffield, he can come and do it.
I tell you what, guys, we are very, very lucky to have such cool people in our company. And Andy, that was I thoroughly enjoyed that. It was almost like I was just watching someone else's show just then. It was incredible how you were talking about that whole part in the 90s. That was fantastic. I really enjoyed it. Okay, so what else have we got? Well, I'm thinking about doing a new segment like what's the new gear that we've got this week? Well, at the moment, it'll be pretty like tumbleweed flying across the road.
Don't do that. Don't do that at the moment. Everybody be like, well, I wish I had. I really wish I had, but I don't know if I'm working next week. We can't do that.
No, we can't. But anyway, I wanted to show you that I did manage to get myself a couple of little things, and only because they were very, very cheap. So the first one I got myself was a set of DJ headphones, which is the Audio Technica 80 something or other Pro 7X, and these were only about £50 or about $100 Australian. So I thought they were very, very good for the price. Now, they are tiny compared to the drivers in my 50s, but they've got a really, really good bass sound. So if you're a DJ or you like that sort of bass response, these are really so bassy, so punchy, almost like there's a subwoofer in them. I was quite impressed with the sound of those. So that was the first thing I got. And Darren, you might be interested in this. I got a little Eurorack module. There it is there.
Oh.
It's hard to see there. But I can show you guys a little... It's actually a Behringer System 100 dual filter module. So they're slowly starting to come out. I've been whinging a lot about these modules are not coming out quick enough. So where did I put that little video? I'm sure I did a little video on this for Facebook the other day. I'll look up the video in a sec, and you can see there's a close-up of me showing how it's built, and there's the quality of it and everything. But having said that, it's really, really nice. The filter on it is beautiful. It's so creamy. It's a dual filter too. So you've got three signals in that you can bring in through each of the dual filters. So technically, you can bring 6 signals in to that dual filter, and it's got all the modulation for each of the cutoff, resonance, and it's also got a high pass filter with 3 different modes on it as well, and it's all CV controlled. Now that track I did before with the model through I used the Neutron to do a weird sound that you heard with the Mellotron choir in the background. That was using the new filter from Behringer. So it's got a bit of an SH101 sound filter to it, but it's not really quite the SH101. Someone will probably correct me if I'm wrong. It's probably a different circuit, but it's kind of that adage, and it's definitely System 100M. It's perfect. It sounds exactly like it. Now, what did it cost me? About £100. So it's pretty good for a Eurorack module. So just putting that one out there. They're starting to release them. They do have the Moog ones as well. There's Moog 900 series or 90s. I don't know what you call it, but there's like a Moog modular sort of thing that they're doing. I probably, at this stage, not getting those because they're a lot more old school, those modules, in terms of functionality and things like that. You end up having to buy more modules to do sort of similar things than what you can do with less modules with this Roland sort of gear. But what I like about the System 100 is there's a lot of dual things that they're bringing out. So there's dual oscillators, dual filters, dual VCAs, and as a result of that, you've got one small HP, a couple of HPs taking up space, but you've got more options in that one sort of Eurorack module to handle it, which I think is pretty cool. So slowly I'll be bringing them out, which is good news for me because I can't get them all at the same time because it's not much money in the bank. But if it's every couple of months, it's easy. A couple of $100 every couple of months, easy to do. So I just slowly fill up, some of these spots here, and eventually the goal is to have a System 100M. Maybe not everything that they bring out, but most of the ones that will make, oscillator, filter, LFO. I do like there's a sequencer they're bringing out. I'll probably look at getting that. Have you seen that, Darren? The sequencer. It's interesting.
From Behringer.
Yeah, the System 100. See if I can bring up a picture while your face is there. I don't know. They annoy me, their videos that they're bringing out at the moment, Behringer, because they just really annoy me how they keep bringing videos out and there's really nothing to go from. I don't know if I'm going to find it in time. Maybe if I get a chance.
Hi guys,
to
this is
find
Götz
it.
calling you
God,
from sunny.
Oops.
Sorry. I don't know if he's going to talk about the
Disembodied voice.
Thought someone walked into the room then.
Maybe this might show. I don't know. We'll have a quick look through it. So see how I was saying with the envelope. There's 2 envelope modules in one unit, and there's also an LFO down the bottom. This is the VCA module here. It's got 2 VCAs.
Yeah, it does look very 101-y, doesn't it?
Yeah, 100Ms. Are they going to show more modules? So that's the VCO. Yeah, that's the one I've got.
How wide are they?
16, I think that is. So yeah, that's the one I've got. So you can see it's got 3 inputs on each filter, and you've got 3 modulation inputs down the bottom, and it's got a 3-stage high pass filter. So it's 1 kilohertz, 2 kilohertz, and 5 kilohertz on the high pass, and you've got 2 outs. Now the question someone asked me during the week was, are these decoupled? I don't know. So it's something I have to find out. I've only had this for a few days, but yeah, they're really cool looking. See if I can find this. Oh, this was available. This multi-gate thing. I don't know how to use that. There's a mixer which would be pretty cool. And anyway, there's a sequencer somewhere. I don't know if I can find it quick enough for you. Maybe it's there. The phase shifter looks pretty cool. Look at that. With the delay circuit. I like all that sort of stuff.
You can set up quite a nice little setup, couldn't you?
Yeah. So we bag Behringer a lot, but honestly, there's the sequencer. Look at that. That looks awesome.
Oh, that reminds. That's
a clone of the original one. It's exactly the same as the 100M.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got that in a software version, which I use sometimes, which is pretty cool. Yeah, I might be on my list. That might be another sequencer.
So I'm going to fill up like 2. It'll probably be 2U, I'd say, once I've got them all. I know there's at least 7 modules that I've looked at on their website that I need. So like I said, I'll be spacing that out over probably 7 or 8 months. That's for sure. Andy, are you interested in that sort of stuff? Euro rack? Has that sort of ever tweaked your interest?
I haven't got any Euro rack apart from, of course, the Behringer Pro 1, but I am very much so. And I was going to ask Darren, has he got a little nifty case there?
He does.
Is that case that's on his show?
Yes.
That's very tempting.
Yeah.
To get that and to stick a load of the System 100M, the new Behringer modules in it. I'm actually. I think in a couple of months' time I will have started that. But a bit like you said, Rans, it's buying. Once you've got your case, just putting a module in here, a module in there, and just building it up gradually, rather than sort of rushing out and shelling out a couple of £1,000, which I just can't do right now. So you can that case
that case there that you can see in the back behind the MS101, you can get that now. And they're only about 40 or 50 pounds to get this.
It doesn't have power in it.
Because it doesn't have power in it. Yeah.
That nifty case has got everything you need to start except the sound modules. So if you're a beginner like me, that's what really appeals to me. I don't know if Andy feels the same. The fact that I don't have to buy a module for MIDI or CV or power. I don't need to worry about that. I can just get on with the sound bit.
Yeah.
But that nifty case.
Yeah, you can plug MIDI in it as well.
That's going to turn
USB.
a lot of people.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good case.
We don't have to think
the
about that because we don't know what we're doing.
Yeah, how easy will it be to stack them when you've filled one and you want a second one? Those Behringer ones and the Moog style skiffs, Robin Vincent style, where he's built up his system using the same 104 skiffs, really quite an inspiring way to do it. But as you said, the convenience of that nifty case is very, very tempting.
Inky, this is just for you. Inky, this is just for you. You've got a Neutron, right? That's got a MIDI in, okay?
Yeah, but
and then all of that stuff on the right of that MIDI in is technically clocked by that MIDI signal if you enable it, and then you can output that into any control voltage. So with your Neutron, you don't need the nifty case.
Yeah,
sorry.
Yeah,
Andy.
but to be honest,
No,
I
good
couldn't
point.
see the point of doing that because I don't know. I think it's taking up a lot of space in the case, the Neutron itself.
Oh yeah, that
So I'd
side
like-
of it, I get what you're saying. Yeah.
I'd like to start with the nifty case and maybe look at the Dreadbox stuff as well.
Yeah, the new Dreadbox stuff is good.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean that's really. I know it's silly, but it's really colourful and it looks really nice and it sounds pretty awesome. And I'm wondering if you could get how many of that get in a nifty case, and if you'd get enough to.
It's Is it 80p or 60? What is it again, Darren? The actual width of a nifty case?
Is it? I think it's 86. I think
86. Yeah. Hang on, I'll just get their website up. So $269 US. Let's have a quick look here. Sorry, this is just.
But as Andy said,
more just for you guys who are looking at it. Go to full screen.
to stack them, you wouldn't be able to do it unless they came up with some sort of cool frame. You could always make a frame,
Where's that link? Oh.
or you could start off with a nifty case and then put the Behringer ones and attach them to the top. How wide are the Behringer one?
Yeah, see that the
Are
MIDI
they
is
86?
what I like about it, Andy, is the MIDI is on the top of it, so
And
it's,
USB.
it's not taking up like really any more HP. So you can see you've also got extra CV stuff across the top there, and you've got 84p worth of Eurorack width. So to give you an idea, that module that I just showed you from Roland, that was 16p. So, do your math. You could work out how many of those you could fit in there. So yeah, Inky's on the money. It's definitely worth the case
And the
by
power's
itself.
already there as well. So.
If you don't want to get those modules that it comes with, you can just get the case. It's only 200, about £150 or 200 US dollars to get the case by itself.
Yeah, I just got the case. Yeah. But like
How
to
much
stack
was
them,
it,
I don't
Aaron?
know if you'd be able to stack them. The case, 140, I think. Might have even been less than that when I got it.
The only criticism I have of it, and Darren, you could probably correct me if I'm wrong, is I don't like how that power rail is just a ribbon cable and it just flaps around in the breeze. That's the only criticism I've got of it. Whereas a lot of other cases you get, the actual power rail is actually like a solid thing that you can, like if you look at the, I'll show you in a sec, but if you look at the...
Like the dot for behind me.
Yeah, the Dopfers.
The dot for behind me, I put it on the board.
Yeah.
I don't think it was an issue, to be honest. The only issue you do get with it is if you've got any deep modules and you've got the cable in the bottom, it starts to bend up and your plugs on the end start catching the module on the bottom of the module. But it depends what you put in it. But to start off with, you've got the thing is, if you even use your computer, not that you can be using hardware, but the computer just sees it as a device anyway, which is great. So you can send out a clock from your computer straight into the nifty case, because you don't need a USB to CV or anything like that, because it's all in the case. Yeah.
So even if you look at the rack brute, which is what I've got, you can see the power supply is a fixed thing across the top there. Now that actually is a pain if you've got the two rows like I've got, but when you get the single rack brute, it's fine. But it is actually a bit of a pain for the bottom row. You got to actually, if you've got modules plugged in up the top and you want to access the power, you got to actually take your modules out to get it. So there's tit for tat with that whinge that I just had. I think I've probably just undone my own whinge.
If we went in lockdown and they had brought it round so you can have a play with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
When it's over, Darren.
When it's over, it's over. All right, guys in chat. What are we guys talking about in chat? God knows. Let's bring him into it. Lots of people are kind of sort of following 6 year or go home, Mr. Max saying 3 years a waste of time. Well, yeah, it is, but like let's not forget that some people don't want to have like a synth wall either, a Eurorack wall, either because they want to pay their mortgage for the rest of the year, and secondly they probably don't have the space. But I would love it. I'm not going to say no, but I'm not going to pay for it. That's for sure. With me, my goal is with my setup here. This is kind of what I'm thinking of doing. I'm actually thinking of redoing this tier, and actually building 2 Eurorack modules that sit on an angle, and actually building the shelf part on top, so that sits underneath. And then I kind of want to have, 2U, maybe 3U at the most, but yeah, probably 3U. But have so that they're not just flat or on an angle. They're kind of, each one of the U's is on a different angle. So the bottom one is almost sort of on the desk, and then it goes up like that. That's kind of what I want to have. And in the middle, I want to have a gap so that I can put like a mixer or something like that in the middle. That's kind of my goal there. But yeah, I'll have to do some woodwork to do that. I'm very good at woodwork. It'll probably look like this afterwards.
like you were saying, a lot of people won't be able to afford that, because I mean that Dope for 9U box there, to fill that, even with sort of moderate price modules, is going to cost a fortune. And that's including, because it's like I think the case itself is about 300 quid.
See, Chilerian.
So I mean, that's a lot of money just to have a box without anything in it.
Yeah, it is. What else are the guys saying? ASIO, have you got your MPC 1 yet? That's the question. I reckon we'd know about it. I reckon you'd email me. What's going on with your MPC 1? Why are they not sending it to you yet? Yeah, there is definitely this theory where people were saying that if you get yourself into Eurorack, you'll never get yourself out of it. I don't know. Like, you got to have self-control. I think there's a way you can go. You can go about it in a way like I've gone about it, and that is that you have a plan for it. And that is, for me, it was more. I didn't really want to make synths in here. I wanted it to be more of a toolbox that does things like modulation or effects, or that's why I want to get the math. I haven't got the math yet from, is it Make Noise, or sorry, who does the math again?
Yeah, Make Noise.
Yeah,
Make Noise,
yeah, I'm still wanting to get that, but they're pricey at the moment for me. Everything's really pricey at the moment, so just hold off, And if you can't afford it, just hold off. No big
I don't
deal.
think any of us got any money.
It's not necessarily about not having money. It's more about, like, for me, it's our exchange rate has just gone because of the economics. It's part of it. I mean, you guys are probably lucky that you had Brexit, to be honest, because I reckon if you didn't have Brexit, you guys would be hurting. No,
Sorry, do you want to say that again?
No, I'm talking about economic, like, exchange rates. Yeah.
We don't know. It could go either way. We're hoping.
Well, it hasn't done what our dollar's done. You'd know by now, Inky. You would know by now. Seriously, you'd know by now.
If coronavirus has done us one service,
oh, you haven't left yet?
Yeah, we have.
I thought you had.
No, we haven't.
Yes,
we haven't officially. We've voted to leave, but we haven't officially do any kind of end of the year, have we?
No, but
Andy?
No, I think it's gone through now.
We have.
I think we have it. We have.
Yeah.
We are no longer members of the EU. We've left. But people have just stopped talking about it because of COVID-19. So.
We've left, but we're on is it a year to the end of the year as a phasing out period? So
that's it. We haven't
till December.
That's what I'm saying. We've left, but we haven't really left. We won't know the economics of it till we've really left.
Join again.
Well.
Yeah.
I don't really. I
I
think we're all in agreement here. I don't think we're looking forward to it, but we won't know that until a year or 2 years time.
Ours is. I'll give you guys an example of what ours has done. Right, this is our dollar. It's actually clawing back a bit, but look where it went. Like it just completely was down here. Like there was, you know,
Yeah, but
that's the trough of Gibraltar there. Like it just literally just everything was like 4 times the price. And then I mean, see, we're used to about 70 cents for a long time. That's a year, you know, we're about 70 cents US, and then it just went. And I couldn't buy anything because everything was like 4 or 5 times the price. It's clawing back. But that's what I'm talking about, guys. So you guys have not had that happen to your exchange rate. So
no, I must admit we have stayed at like yeah, we've stayed between 120 to 1.2, $1.25, and we've stayed pretty much the same.
I'll give you an example. Like I was, you know, how I was going to buy the ARP 2600, and I'm glad I didn't, because it'd be in a different situation now because of what's happened with COVID-19. Yeah. But if I did buy it, I would have got it at the right time, and now it's actually almost twice the price if I want to get it now than what it was when I was talking about buying it earlier in the year. That's how crazy it is. So I think I was talking about it being about 5,000 or something for the Korg one, the full, you know, with the case and dancing girls and coffee making machine and everything else that comes with it. And now it's about 9,000 Australian to get the same thing. So it's just stupid, and it just doesn't make sense.
You're going for the Behringer like me.
I'll end up just getting Behringer. Yeah. Everything will break though after about 12 months. That's the only problem.
I'm getting it because of all the lights.
Please don't say that.
No.
Yeah, I'm hoping this Behringer lasts. The mixers didn't, but the hope for the synth will.
I'm kidding. They are pretty well built. They are. Like even the plasticky MS101 that I got, which is plasticky only because they were trying to recreate it like the SH101. That's plasticky as well.
Which is plastic.
Yeah,
like plastic and metal bottle.
So it's actually pretty decent. And I've dropped it a couple of times, and it's been fine. I'm like, but yeah, it's been fine. There's a few things that I've had issues with, but they're not really like big issues. That every single manufacturer has issues with mechanical electronics. So, you know, you can't just sort of go, Behringer are crap, because they haven't been. There's a
definite time where they've like improved, because I remember buying a mixer a couple of years ago, and it was kind of like a bit naff, you know, a USB mixer and channels in, and it was a bit. Whereas you look at the
sorry, I was just laughing at a comment.
UMC I've got, or any of the synths, and they're really well built compared to the plastic piece of rubbish I got 2 years ago.
The Neutron
is
built.
What I mean?
The Neutron's built like a German submarine. Like it's like amazingly built, that thing. So yeah, ASIO Head said, "Funny how no one's talking about Brexit or Greta Thunberg." Yes, she's honestly tried to get her head above all this COVID-19. She's tried to make it about COVID-19. I've seen some of her little stupid rants that she's gone on, and everyone's just like, shut up, you little kid, just go away. We're sick of you, just shut up. Go sit in the corner.
I didn't know who she was till a couple of weeks ago.
Wow.
I didn't realise that she was so big and that everybody knew who she was.
I know it's quiet.
Never heard of her.
I know it gets quiet down in Cornwall, but geez, come on, surely.
Well, I think she did a great job shouting her mouth off and raising an issue that she was passionate about and getting other people on board. Whether you agree with her or not, neither here nor there. But I think she did an amazing job. And there's so many things which were in motion which have now come to a full stop. And whether they could be picked up again when all this is over, well, time will tell.
I didn't mind her message. I didn't mind her message because the message was definitely needed, but I just didn't like her tantrum. It didn't need the childish tantrum. So, you know, remove the childish tantrum and just deliver the message, and we're fine with it. I think most people would agree that.
Then again, she's a child.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what happens when you let children have a voice. But anyway, I've got 3 of them. Back to music, guys. Yes, definitely agree with Mr. Mac there.
Sorry. Chuck politics in the bin.
Blame Azio Head. He was the one that brought it up. I thought it was funny though. Anyway, we're talking about those Behringer modules. So it'll be a slow build for me. So, but you guys probably watch it with interest. I definitely want to put something together. I'm very keen to see how different it sounds from the SH101, Darren, when it actually, when I get an oscillator and I get an envelope generator. Even if I don't get an envelope generator, I can always use the neutron as an envelope generator. But you know what I mean? Like once I get an oscillator, I've got the filter. Pretty much all I need then is a VCA, and I'm good to go. And I've got, let's see what it sounds like compared to the SH101.
I think these days things are going to sound close enough, because like we said many a time before, when you start putting things in the mix or in your track, very few people are going to go, aha, that's not an SH101 or 303 or even a Juno 6 or anything. It's because everything's so close these days.
Yeah, that's true. It is, and it's that ability to find those little nuanced sounds inside some of the synths without them all sounding the same. It's kind of a trick, isn't it? Like when I was doing the model cover, and I was using the neutron to get that sort of weird sound, and I actually used a pulse width mod sort of sound to get that weird sound out of it. And you marry that with a filter, and I'd never actually even heard that sound before, and someone sort of clued me to that direction of where to go. And the moment that you started, tweaking it a bit, and then you heard it, it was like, wow, it just pops out. Like it's almost like it's not there, and then bang, it's there. And it's only just a slight little knob adjustment that you've done, where you've just adjusted the width and you've just adjusted the filter a little, back the filter off a bit, and bang, you've got that sound. And you just think to yourself, wow, they just appear, don't they? And it sounds different to if I did it on, say, for example, the Odyssey, because the Odyssey doesn't have the what do you call it? The 3340 oscillators. So because of the 3340 oscillators, it sounds different. So there you go. So
the original Pro 1 and the original SH101 both had 3340 oscillators.
Yeah, they do.
Yet they sounded totally different. The sound of the oscillators was different on both synthesizers. So I don't know whether the sound of the 3340 oscillators on the Behringer Pro 1 and the neutron would also similarly be different. I think a lot of the character in Roland synths was the filter. That very sort of distinctive filter sound. You can hear the filter and go, that's a Roland filter. Anyway,
you're absolutely spot on. That filter module that I got with the System 100, that is so Roland. Like the moment that I plugged it in, I was so dying to plug it in and try it out, and I used the neutron to generate sound into it. And like you said, it's a 3340 oscillator, and immediately it sounded like a Roland. So you're probably on the money. Does it sound? I mean, the neutron filter sounds different. I don't really know. I think it's probably more headed towards the Pro 1 sound. I don't know. I don't really know what the neutron filter sounds like. If I'm being honest, it's a
12 dB filter on the neutron.
Yeah, but it's kind of
the Pro 1 is a 24 dB. But
it's
actually,
not my favourite filter.
It's not my favourite filter either, Inky. That's what I'm trying to say. It's kind of like I don't really know where it's come from. It's a bit weird.
Yeah, I don't really know.
Almost
my least favourite thing on it.
Almost like the 12 dB filter on the base station 2, which is a bit naff as well. I never use a 12 dB filter on the base station 2. I don't like it.
You're going to have to make me look now, because mine's always stuck on, my monostation's always stuck on one of them. Which one is it?
I tell you my two favourite filters is the one that they use in the Juno 6.
Oh, yeah.
And the Electribes. That's definitely the Mark 1 and 2 Electribes
really
filter.
Nice
is really nice. Yeah, really nice.
I'm pretty sure, and someone will correct me if I'm wrong because there's people with more knowledge than me, but I'm pretty sure the Juno filter is the same or very, very similar as the SH101 filter. it's got some extreme similarity. So that's probably why you like
Is
it.
it? It sounds. It doesn't sound the same to me.
Okay.
But then again, like we've been saying, things deteriorate over time. So
Different oscillators.
yeah,
Yeah.
you know,
Could be.
yeah.
Someone might correct me if I'm wrong there. But I was under the impression that it's all around that same era that they pretty much, electronic manufacturers like to reuse stuff because it's cost effective to do that. They can bang products out quicker. And if you mix things differently, right, then you're going to get different sounds. Just like Andy was saying before about the 3340 oscillator. You put it with a different filter and bang, you got a different synth. Even with the Curtis filters, right? A lot of people say to me, "Oh, Curtis filters aren't that good." What does everyone see in Curtis filters? Well, maybe some Curtis filter implementations don't sound good because they never were really meant to pair with that oscillator that they've paired with. But in some other cases, they sound amazing. Like look at the Prophet 5. So, you can't argue that the Prophet 5 sounds awesome or not. Some people, I've never heard anyone say to me they don't like a Prophet 5 sound.
And let's face it, because even like in your DAW, some of the filters that you can get, whether it be a plugin or not, or even the standard Ableton filter, which I've used a few times on outboard gear and then recorded it back in.
Yeah,
it sounds good. So it's like I say, horses for courses at the end of the day. If it suits your track.
Jamie was just saying that he's got a 521 Eurorack filter from the Roland, which is it Meleco? What's the company that's doing it for Roland? I forget who they're called. There's someone's outsourcing it for Roland. But anyway, that filter was also for sale at the shop that I bought the Behringer one, and it was 5 times the price. No, 3 times the price. Sorry, 3 times the price. Same. So it's a single filter module, whereas that's a dual filter module, and it was 2 or 3 times the price, to say, loose figures. And I just thought to myself, is it really worth that extra coin just to get something that's got the Roland badge on it, when I'm pretty much going to get the Roland sound out of that? I know the 500 racks are different to the 100 racks. They have different circuits, but they're not massively different. Axel Stoff is telling me off again with his
he's donkey
horse jaws. Jamie, you might be able to tell us in chat if you're still there, mate. We were just asking about the Juno filter in the Juno. Is it the same as the SH101? So give it 10 seconds and you'll answer that.
According to ASIOED, have a look at ASIOED's comment.
All Roland filters. Is that the one? Built around the, I don't know what that is.
It's under. Yeah, it's built around the OTA.
SH1. Okay.
But the SH1 was built around another OTA, but not necessarily the same.
All right. Fair enough. There you go. Yeah. Okay. I'm just looking at the chat, guys.
Yeah.
So I know it's probably not easy for me to keep talking while the chat's going, but there you go. I would love to get those Roland modules. They've been out for ages now, but I just can't justify the price that they're charging for them. For me, not because not because I think they're expensive or anything like that. It's just I just can't, because you saw the graph before of our dollar. The Murray Alter trough.
Yeah, well, it's. Yeah, I mean, like you say, the sound quality of the Behringer. I mean, that filter that you've got, that's something I might be looking at, because that is one thing I'm short on his filters. I've only got the Wasp filter in there. So filters I definitely need, and probably VCAs as well.
Yeah, ACO, it's probably more the capacitors and the way that the way the electrical circuit is together as a whole. I mean, op amps aren't necessarily what's going to make the sound, but it is what's going to make the electric circuit behave its way. So it's all to do with the whole circuit. It's not just one chip. Absolutely, I agree with that. But yeah, I think Wagyu said that Roland did things pretty much similar, but they might have tweaked it slightly. Or Roland would probably use the words, you can just imagine their marketing back in the 80s. We've improved, like they say now, like, oh, we've brought the Zen Core, it's everything would have been about, oh, we've redesigned the filter circuit and it's improved, it's more modern, and they probably would have sold that. So, yeah. Yeah, we do have to be mindful though that, the other day I got out the mini brute, not the micro brute, the mini brute, the Arturia mini brute, which was the first analog monosynth that I think at the time was just really affordable for people when that first came out. I think we're looking at sort of 2013, around 2014, somewhere around there. Base Station 2, Arturia Mini Brute, and there was one or two others that came out. And if you looked at everything else that was on the market that was like an analog monosynth, like, for example, I had a Moog Slim Fatty, which was probably one of the cheaper Moogs you could get because it didn't have a keyboard on it, and that was still like 7 or 8 times the price of the Arturia or the Base Station. And I plugged it in the other day and it still works fine. The Arturia I'm talking about, and it's actually a great sounding monosynth. And you think to yourself, maybe a year or two before that, there was nothing that was cheap or affordable for us, and we're only talking about 7 years ago. So it's a pretty quick amount of time that's progressed. Then you've got the Behringer factor that came in, sort of started around 2015, 2016, and now it's really, showing its muscle in the market now. Like, those Eurorack modules are so cheap. Like Darren said, like, you feel if he filled his Eurorack up 4 or 5 years ago, it would be much more expensive than it is now. So even the bigger, more expensive manufacturers are becoming cheaper. Have you noticed that, Darren? With some exceptions, but they are bringing, like, look at Erebus. They're bringing out those modules. So there's evidence.
60, 70.
Yeah, they're digital mainly though, so that's probably why they're cheaper. But it's kind of, that's what's happening. Oh, someone mentioned Hydrasynth. Mr. Mac. I played one during the week for the first time. I've actually never seen one in real life. I've already just watched YouTube videos of it. And the presets on it were a bit like, it's a bit like most synths that have just really sort of average presets. They don't really showcase the synth much. But I absolutely loved what you could do with the synth, and I know the presets didn't sell it anywhere near to its potential. And the expressive part of that, playing with the ribbon controller and the way the keyboard works, I can see what people are getting their chins wagging about the Hydrasynth. I don't know if I'll get one because it's probably not going to, I've got a peak, it's probably similar sort of ground. I don't want to sort of cross over too much. But if you are interested in the Hydrasynth, that is a cool synth, definitely, for a digital synth.
Yeah, that was, it was on my hit list until it all went pear-shaped with CV.
Yeah.
The only downside is, that I wish the desktop version, because that's the only one that I'd be able to get in here, had the ribbon controller on the bottom of that.
Yeah.
Oh, me too, Darren. I would have got one. If it, because it's got aftertouch, multi-aftertouch on the buttons, hasn't it? But it's just missing that strip up the side.
Mm.
Oh,
they could have quite easily. They could have quite easily just whacked that in.
I know. I the first thing, within 20 seconds of looking at it, I thought, that's great. I wouldn't mind that. Great price. Where's the strip? Why? Yeah, they missed a trick, because I think, like you, the extra cost for the keyboard is nice. Yeah, but now I've got to choose, haven't I? I've got to have the keyboard for what I want, and that's why I haven't got either.
Someone just needs to make a MIDI controller with that strip on it. It probably is out there, and just make that, MIDI mappable.
Well, Key Steps have got them. Really, haven't they?
No, not really. There's just a tiny little like modulation.
Yeah, but it's the same principle. It's the same principle.
No,
You're
but
going up and down, gliding.
You do need that. You need that kind of real estate. It needs to be more of a sort of. It does, honestly.
Yeah.
If it's just a little, it's not the same thing. It's like big sliders versus little sliders.
Push 2.
Someone's asked me peak or Hydra.
Push 2 strip.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Question is, Mr. Max asked us peak or Hydra. Was asked me, but I can't really say Hydra because I've only played it in a shop. I've got the peak. I'm like Jamie knows. He's in the chat now. He knows I'm a big peak person. I like peak. I would love to get my hands on a Summit.
I'm going Hydra.
But if the peak and the Hydra came out at the same time, I probably might have got the Hydra. I reckon I might have got the Hydra instead. That's kind of because of that expressive part of it, that whole playability. Because the Peak didn't actually come originally with a keyboard; it was just a module, right? And it wasn't until the Summit came out before you had a keyboard version of it. But the Hydra came out straight away with both. They had the desktop module and the keyboard, and the keyboard is not massive either. It's not like a big 88 key monolith workstation thing. It's just quite compact. Beautiful keys on it too, by the way. It's quite well made. So I'd probably say, Mr. Mac, I would probably say Hydra if it was a choice at the time. But I love the Peak. I'm not going to say anything bad at all about the Peak, especially with that latest update.
Do they make a Peak with the keyboard now? I didn't know that.
No, Summit.
It's the Summit.
It's the Summit.
Oh yeah, okay.
It's two peaks.
Okay, just checking.
Yeah, 2 peaks in one.
I know.
Yeah,
I know. Just clarifying. Yeah.
Yeah.
But having said that, Rans,
quite a lot of brass.
Yeah.
For a Summit.
Yeah, it's twice the price.
It's more. So you can get 2 peaks and still need more money to buy a Summit. So it's more than twice the price. And someone was talking to me the other day on Facebook saying, well, should I just get 2 peaks because it's cheaper? And I said, well, yeah, but I don't think there's a function inside them where you can polychain them. And Jamie, you can correct me if I'm wrong here, but I don't think there is. And I think that's deliberate. And I don't think there's also some extra features on the Summit that you don't get, some FX and things that you don't get with the 2. So it might be worth the extra kind of spend. Yeah, the keyboard's really nice on the Summit too. I've played it. It's really nice. So I actually think
going back to the Hydra.
Yeah.
Going back to the Hydra on, I can put my touche as the instead of the strip. I can use a touche.
Oh, yeah, I didn't realise you'd got one of those, Darren.
Oh, yeah, he loves his touche.
Oh yes, touche. Yes. In fact, actually, the touche is used on the track for tomorrow. Oh my God! Don't say about the track to tomorrow. Oh.
Well, you're too late now. You have.
Yeah, you've let that one out.
Well, you'll see in the caption though when I put it up.
Is that like when someone drops a silent but deadly and everyone's looking in the room to find out who did it?
Well, let's put it this way. It went completely... I'm not saying anything, though, so I've listened to it.
It is. He's done a silent but deadly. I guarantee you.
The
No.
amount
I've used the touche on it, actually.
On those tracks is astounding because the music is fantastic and the video production is fantastic. I just think, how long must he spend doing that? You've got far more skills in those departments than
he's very talented.
I won't say that.
Really amazing.
I won't say that.
He's very talented.
Well, I do want you to do.
Well, I
do want you to do something, Andrew. I don't know that you've checked it out, but I'd like you to have your opinion on my Orbital Glitch album tracks that I've got in. They're in the playlist Orbital Glitch. I think there's 4 up to now. It's an album I'm working on slowly.
Right. Yeah, I'll go back and give those a listen. Yeah, definitely.
Well, I think one thing we can say, guys, is after watching the stream, you've got a massive playlist of videos now that you're going to have to go watch. And there's like all of the Electribe videos that we showed you before. Darren's video tomorrow. And you're probably going to have to go check out Andy's channel. And then when you've done all that,
Yeah,
and
check out Andy's channel.
and you've still got insomnia and you're still suffering from boredom, you've got to check out Inky's channel as well. That's for sure. And then there's all the cool people in the chat. They've all got pretty cool channels, like Geosynth's has got a good channel, and I'm not saying anyone doesn't. I'm just picking out a few. Axel Soft's got a very, very cool channel. He did a really cool video the other day, didn't he? Did you guys see that video he did the other day?
Yeah.
He did.
And it was kind of just a boredom thing, wasn't it? It was awesome.
It's got loads of sense
also
of humour
kind
in his videos. It just makes me laugh. I think they're great. Put a big
Very
smile
good.
on my face.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll say
Also,
again,
that track had-
Jamie's video on the cat was brilliant. It really makes me want one of those.
Oh yeah, we mentioned that
I want
before.
one of them as well,
Absolutely. Yeah. Inky, you were saying you're trying to get a word out.
Oh no, I forgot now. I just Axel's video. Yeah, that was brilliant because that tune's been in my head as well all week, hasn't it? So he's really picked up on the moment there. Brilliant little video that was.
Yeah, it was good. And the other video that I reckon was pretty good that came out during the week was Daz's for the Intergalactic Federation. Did you guys see that one? It's only just come out. I think it was today.
Yeah, I've
There's
commented.
the 3 genres.
It was so good. I reckon that's his best yet.
Can you
Very,
pop
very
something
cool.
cool?
Well, me and Inky like the first track.
Yeah, shall I give it away what he's done? Shall I tell people what he's done?
Yeah, go for it.
So he's got the same film clip that he's filmed getting out his car and then like stuff, and he's put 3 completely different tracks to it, and it's really good the way that it fits in with all 3. But you definitely have a favourite at the end of it.
Yeah, I'm the latest one. I gravitated towards because I liked how it kept sort of changing about. Do you know what I mean? Like you were kind of getting surprises. Like, oh, what's it doing now? Like it was kind of that, and I love music like that. That just kind of it surprises you, not expecting. Sometimes people do it and it's a bad surprise. You think, oh, no, that didn't work. But he did it well. It was very tasteful how he did it. It had some ambience to it too. I like a bit of dreamy sort of music. So you guys know me. Yeah. All right.
It's like my concept track.
Your concept track. Yeah, that was pretty cool. Definitely.
For me to know. Well, I'm still working on the parts because there's another 2 parts to come, and it'll probably be going to about 45 minutes long altogether when the full track gets released. So you'll have about 10, maybe 12 parts in it. But it'll all be one. It'll all link into one. So you'll be able to literally play it from the beginning, and it'll link back to the beginning.
I think we can safely say that the bonus with all this COVID-19 crap has been that we've really had an opportunity to sort of improve our music skills. If you haven't...
I've been out cycling.
I've been out cycling as well, but I've been doing music too. Come on.
I've been updating my IT skills.
I gave up with all that stuff. I went, nah, forget it. I'm off. I'm going to try going out in the nature. Not naturist, I mean in the nature.
Is this like a pooing, like
Could do both.
pooing in public type joke or something? Is it? Have you guys heard of that? There's this lady in Australia, and I have no idea who she is and what she does, but she's been caught. She goes for a run, right, and she goes and has a poo out when she goes for a run, and she's been caught like by the cops about 3 or 4 times now, and they're getting sick of her just taking a dump when she goes for a run. So I don't know. Is that a thing? Is people go out for a poo now? I mean, what is this? This is weird.
Only in Australia.
This is weird. What are people doing?
If you watch the last leg, as they say, only in Australia.
That's it. You guys are missing out on all the cool stuff happening down here.
Quite happy to miss out on that. Thank you very much.
We're all feeling sorry for Axel right now because he has to work. Well, we all have to work too, Axel. So I don't think you're special. We're all working as well, mate.
Yeah.
And
spent all week working.
And I've got kids too, so add that to my list of craziness. I just choose to not sleep. I have a theory: you get plenty of sleep when you're dead. So there you go. Like, it's midnight here for me, and here I am entertaining you guys. It's midnight. Most people are snoring their heads off. I think the upstairs in my house are all snoring. But anyway, speaking of which, I think it's time that we wrapped it up, because we're talking about women pooing on their runs, and I just really don't think that's relevant for this show.
Different channel for that one, rather than
And I've only just
different website for that one.
I finished my beer, so what do you want me to do?
Yeah, empty glass. Oh,
I'm starting to get a bit, thinking about going to the pub now.
Empty mug.
Oh, we can't go to the pub.
Axel wants me to wish his wife a happy birthday. Okay, here we go.
Happy
Axel's wife, have a very happy birthday, and make sure that husband of yours does all the hard work. Make sure he does everything, cleans, makes your food, everything for the whole day. He's your slave, okay? He promised me. There you go. That's for you, Axel. Make sure she watches it.
Doing in public and slavery. This channel's taken a very strange turn.
Well, we should change the name of the stream to
he
Korg,
knows if he
Electribes,
gets
and putting
over
in
the
public.
line. If he knows if he gets over the line that somebody around here will step in. We laugh and joke, but we all know who's in charge, which species is in charge. So we just let you get on with it. Just have your little joke, and we'll pat you on the head. And that's all right.
All right.
All right.
I've been used to being called a convict all my life.
That's by other Aussies as well.
Guys. All right, we're going to have to wrap it up. I really do apologise.
Right.
We'd love to stay here a bit longer, but we've all got lives to go to, and wish you all the very best for the rest of the week. Have no idea what the topic is next week. Actually, I do. It's going to be about the MPC, I would think. Inky, you and I are going to be busy next week. And all of the rest of you guys, have an awesome week. Let's say goodbye starting with Darren. You can say goodbye to the world for a week at least.
Goodbye to the world. Everyone who's watching, all take care. Have a great one.
And then we'll go to Inky.
Oh, and check my track out tomorrow.
Have a great week, everyone. Have fun.
Beautiful. Andy, your turn.
Yeah. Goodbye, everyone. Keep safe, keep well, and no pooing in public.
Especially if you're that woman from Melbourne in Australia. Cut it out. All right. Goodbye, everyone. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you all next week. Cheers.